Welcome to today's news wrap up. Let's dive into the top stories that are making headlines. President Trump has effectively nullified the global minimum tax deal signed by Janet Yellen, which aimed to impose a 15% tax rate on multinational companies. The executive order directs the Treasury to warn the OECD that the deal is void without congressional approval and to propose retaliatory measures against countries imposing discriminatory taxes on U.S. companies. This move is part of Trump's broader strategy to protect American economic interests and sovereignty. Y'all know I'm all for that. Congress is investigating claims that banks are discriminating against conservatives by denying them services, like I reported before. House Oversight Chairman James Comer is looking into whether these practices are driven by ESG policies or government pressure. The investigation aims to uncover the extent of this issue and its impact on conservative individuals and businesses. President Trump suggested eliminating federal income tax if his tariff plans succeed, recalling a time when tariffs funded the government. He mentioned the possibility of reallocating IRS agents to the border. Trump's proposal aims to reduce the federal budget by relying on tariffs instead of income tax. And y'all know I've spoken on this before. I say get rid of the income tax. Mark Zuckerberg announced that Facebook will stop relying on fact checkers and move towards a crowdsourcing system for content moderation, as I reported before. But now climate skeptics remain doubtful about the sincerity of this change, citing past censorship of their views. Critics argue that the new system may still not foster an open debate on climate and energy issues. China has agreed to accept deportation flights of Chinese nationals from the U.S. after President Trump threatened tariffs and sanctions. The Chinese Foreign Ministry confirmed they would receive repatriates who are verified as Chinese nationals. This decision follows months of Beijing's refusal to cooperate with U.S. repatriation efforts. Mark Anderson criticized BlackRock CEO Larry Fink for initially pushing ESG policies and then backtracking. Anderson mocked Fink for forcing companies into ideological positions and then retreating from those stances. He highlighted the inconsistency and rapid reversal in BlackRock's approach to ESG. Chinese AI startup DeepSeek has emerged as a significant competitor to US based firms by developing advanced AI models at a fraction of the cost. Their DeepSeek version 3 model, trained with less than $6 million worth of computing power, has achieved performance levels comparable to lead models from OpenAI and Meta. This development has raised concerns about the US tech industry's investment in expensive AI infrastructure. If anything, I believe this will make the cost of AI go down. Governor Ron DeSantis is pushing the Florida legislature to support federal immigration enforcement, but he criticizes their current bill as weak and ineffective. He argues that the bill fails to ensure local law enforcement cooperation and improperly shifts enforcement authority to the agriculture department. That doesn't make any sense. DeSantis emphasizes the need for strong state support to fulfill federal immigration mandates. The Seventh Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals is set to rule on whether illegal aliens have Second Amendment rights following the case of Heriberto Caraballo Flores, who was arrested for possessing a firearm in Chicago. You know, Chicago, one of the most strictest on on the Second Amendment. The federal government argues that immigration status is crucial, while Carbajal Flores, attorney, contended that constitutional rights should extend to all individuals within the U.S. We all know that's not really the case. They're not citizens. They don't get afforded those rights. But the case has sparked debate over the interpretation of the Second Amendment and its application to undocumented immigrants. I'm interested to see how this plays out. Snoop Dogg responded to backlash over his performance at Trump's inauguration by emphasizing his commitment to love and positivity. He addressed critics on Instagram, stating that he remains true to himself and his identity. Despite past opposition to Trump, Snoop highlighted the importance of focusing on his own life and staying positive. NATO plans to send 100,000 so-called peacekeepers to Ukraine, raising concerns about a potential direct conflict with Russia. The move is seen as an attempt to counter President Trump's anti-globalist agenda. Critics argue that this could escalate tensions and provoke a larger war. Bill Gates has admitted that his association with Jeffrey Epstein was a huge mistake and that he was foolish to spend time with him. Now, mind you, this is after he got convicted, after Epstein got convicted the first time with having sex with and trafficking minors. Bill Gates continued to hang out with this guy. But Gates initially thought their meetings would benefit his global health philanthropy, but they did not. He also acknowledged that his relationship with Epstein contributed to his divorce from Melinda Gates. I guess y'all could take that for what it's worth. ICE arrested Cesar Polanco, an illegal immigrant who brutally murdered his pregnant wife in front of his 5-year-old son. Polanco, a Dominican national, was paroled after serving 17 years of a life sentence for a 2006 murder. Wow. He should have never been released in the first place. The arrest is part of the Trump administration's worst first agenda to detain and deport criminal illegal migrants. Selena Gomez shared an emotional video on Instagram expressing her distress over President Trump's renewed mass deportation efforts and the impact on undocumented immigrants. She apologized for not being able to help more and emphasized her empathy for affected families. She'd been getting blasted on the internet for it, people laughing at her, talking about she's a billionaire. She could do something for these illegals if she want to, and even set up some on her property. She got multiple properties worth millions of dollars she could set them up for, and so she ended up deleting that post. But Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, responded by defending the deportation and urging Congress to change the law if people disagree with the policy. Many undocumented immigrants are fleeing New York City due to fear of deportation, despite using the CBP One app to enter the U.S. legally, even though we know that's not, just because you set up an app doesn't mean that you can come to this country legally. But I digress. The app, which was once considered a conservative conspiracy theory, has caused confusion about the legality and effectiveness. About its legality and effectiveness. The Trump administration removed functions that allowed asylum requests, leaving many immigrants uncertain about their status. I can tell them their status right now. They're here illegally. The CDC has been ordered to immediately stop collaborating with the World Health Organization following President Trump's executive order to withdraw from the organization. This abrupt halt has raised concerns among experts about the impact on global health efforts, including combating outbreaks like Marburg virus and Mpox. The decision requires congressional approval and a 1-year notice period to take full effect. Al Sharpton used his MSNBC show to promote a boycott of companies that have abandoned DEI policies, calling it a shakeup of America. He plans to target 2 companies within 90 days through his nonprofit National Action Network. And Sharpton's actions have raised concerns about potential conflicts of interest for MSNBC and its parent company, Comcast. the Department of Education is still offering a non-binary gender marker on student aid applications, despite President Trump's executive order recognizing only male and female sexes. The department plans to update the FAFSA form for the 2026-2027 academic year to reflect this policy, but cannot change the 2025-2026 form due to logistical constraints. The department has already removed DEI materials and canceled related contracts as part of Trump's agenda. And lastly, CDC employees are threatening to quit if RFK is appointed, citing concerns about working with someone they view as anti-science. It's hilarious. Where was that? Where was them listening to the science on the jab? But I digress. Big Pharma is also opposing RFK due to his stance on removing their immunity from lawsuits. I don't understand, why would they have immunity? These things need to be tested. If it's harming people, how are you not held accountable for it? Well, the CDC has been ordered to stop collaborating with the World Health Organization, adding to the tension. Well, that's all for today's news wrap up. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.